And an officer came by and indicted the person.
That's awful.
Well, I hate to see anybody get a ticket, but.
But on the other hand,
Abstains.
Well, it's not gonna solve the problem because the next person is gonna see that.
Everybody has like one thing they have to abstain from
You have
every
to
year.
remember, there's always the main kids in
oh,
that
I
school.
know.
I forgot to
Parents
abstain
coming back.
last time I voted on Wells Fargo.
Just learned how to do
I
this
always walk to that school.
totally on accident because they moved the buttons from one side to the other. So then I would hold it like this and I would screenshot it. And then I'd look in my pictures and I'd be like, why did I take a picture of that?
Got like this as a screenshot.
In the morning.
That makes me feel so bad.
Okay.
Thank you for
That's the bright
me.
spot.
Makes me feel so much better.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Welcome to South St. Paul City Hall and the October 14th, 2019 meeting of the South St. Paul Board of Education. Wendy, will you please take the roll?
Inspector Diaz?
Here.
Inspector Bjorklund?
Present.
Inspector McClellan?
Here.
Inspector Walker?
Here.
Inspector Arend?
Here.
Inspector Lalaberty?
Here.
And Inspector Felton is present, 7 members.
Thank you. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, welcome again, and thank you for attending or watching at home. We will start off our meeting tonight with the approval of tonight's agenda, along with the minutes of the meetings that have taken place since our last meeting. That includes the school board meeting agenda for tonight, October 14th, 2019, the committee of the whole meeting minutes from September 23rd, 2019, and the regular board meeting minutes from September 23rd, 2019. Do I have a motion for their approval?
So moved.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion passes and the agenda and minutes are approved. Well, tonight we have an exciting Quality in Action. The district's early learning programming continues to grow and serve a much more diverse population. Our program director, Connie Garling-Squire, and along with her staff, are here to provide an update for the preschool and early childhood screening and early childhood family education, including an introduction of the staff, who I'm glad to see are here tonight, and highlights of the classes for the parents and families and the community events that they sponsor. So Connie, thanks for coming tonight.
Thanks very much. We always appreciate the opportunity to talk about early learning. And tonight I have the wonderful privilege to talk about our early childhood family education program. The people behind me represent some, not quite all, but most of the program staff that we have. I'm going to spend a little time and introduce each one of them along with the rest of our staff. And then we'll talk a bit about what ECFE does and what our classes look like and what's coming up in the community thanks to this wonderful group of people. So I'm going to start tonight with a few introductions. First of all, from this side. So Terry Castellanos is here. Hi, Terry. Terry is our early childhood cultural liaison, and Terry is in early childhood family education classes 10 hours a week, one way or another, in classes with our Spanish-speaking families so that the content is accessible. Terry also just does a spectacular job of connecting with our community and making sure that all of our Spanish-speaking families understand how important early childhood education is, getting families connected to early childhood screening and into preschool. So we are really grateful for Terry. She's going to talk a little bit about one of our program offers a little bit later. We also have Annie O'Brien. Now, you might recognize Annie from a variety of places. She was she was a preschool assistant for us in our community preschool programming, and now she is in early childhood family education in our programs. And you'll see in a little bit when the pictures start to roll, the joy that comes on her face when she is holding the little ones is really quite amazing. So we appreciate Annie being with us in early childhood. We have Patty Cooper. So Patty is our parenting educator. So Patty's voice is that voice in the ear of the parents who come to classes, who connect with one another, and who learn from early childhood family education. So I'm gonna stop for just a second and ask Patty to come up and talk just a little bit about what ECFE means for her and kind of how she approaches her classes. Come on up, Patty.
Hi, I've been with ECFE for about 25 years now. I do parent education and early childhood education. And I love seeing how a lot of our parents, they start with their children when they're just little babies, and they start out in our baby class. And a lot of those parents that start when they're babies, they tend to stay with our program and go through the years with them, and then they often remark how much easier it is once their children get to the preschool age because they've gone through the program, so they're used to being in school, their children, and then they've done separating classes with us, so then once they separate at preschool, it's a much easier transition, and then once they go to kindergarten, it's so much easier. And the parents in my parenting groups, most groups, they tend to really connect and bond with each other, and they're like really supportive of one another with the different things that are going on in their lives, and really just really build a strong community with that bond that they have with each other, helping each other out and supporting one another with their children and their families in the area. And then we do our Latino classes. Terry and I do those together, and those are a lot of fun. And we try to bring in a lot of community resources along with the parent education with them. And I know a lot of those parents often say too how much they learn, and then how much it helps when their children get into the elementary schools and high schools with them. But it's just a lot of fun to see parents come with their children and learn together and play together in our new wonderful space that we really like. The only thing is we wish we had an outdoor space, but we miss that. But we love our new space here, and we look forward to spending a lot of time there together. So thanks.
Thank you, Patty.
Yeah, parents do love it.
Thanks, Patty. I heard rumors not all that long ago that many decades ago there were a couple of young parents that were in a parenting class together, and 40 years later their children are still friends. I believe that was a part of a Wendy story.
Yes, that would be me. I took my kids and my grandkids to ECFE. I can't speak enough about that program and about you ladies. And like Connie says, that's where I met Lou Campbell and her son Jesse, my daughter Amanda. It turns out now that Amanda and Jesse work together. So the connection stays there after all these years. So it's such a great program. I just can't say enough wonderful things about it.
Thank you. So let me finish up with a couple more introductions, and then I'll talk a little bit more about our program as well. Our lovely Diane. So Diane is also in early childhood family education with us. Her skills cross a variety of planes. She is an expert when it comes to interacting with kids and making a comfortable place for our families to come. If you stop by our early childhood family education programming at the Family Education Center at 5th and Marie, you will also see her stitchery handiwork all over our ECFE program, and you'll see a few pictures here in just a minute. But Diane shares her skills so willingly with all of us, and we are grateful that she is in our program as well. And then, of course, Judy Marty. Judy is our ECFE, one of our early childhood educators. And Judy has a connection to music. Judy has a connection to the Spanish-speaking families that we work with. And my office is just a wall or so away from that classroom. And so I know every song that Judy plays. And it is joyous. So I'm really, really proud of this group of people. I'll introduce a few more via pictures here in just a little bit. But we really appreciate the heartfelt work that they do for early childhood family ed. And now I'm going to talk a little bit about the program.
Should we hold our applause?
Yeah, hold on. So, like I mentioned, ECFE is located at the Family Education Center right here at the corner of Marie and 5th. We serve all families of South St. Paul that have children from ages birth to 5 years old, like kindergarten age. We also, as I was looking at our enrollment this year, we also have families that come from 6 of our surrounding districts to come to our early childhood family education programming. Because they are connected, because perhaps there was a generation that were connected to ECFE. So we're really pleased about that. We have special events and summer programming that I'm going to talk a little bit about. During the course of a week, we actually offer 28 hours of classes every morning of the week, Tuesday through Friday afternoons, and Monday through Thursday evenings. Both at the Family Education Center. We've got one drop-in place at Lincoln Center, and you're going to see a couple of Saturday events coming up that will also be available for our community. So we're really pleased and proud of what we can offer. More information, of course, is available at sspps.org or just stopping by. We are happy to give tours. So people in our office, you met Terry here, and you also heard Lou Campbell's name. Lou has been with our program, and she's our program assistant that works both in the office and in our classrooms. You may know Rosie Crummery and Dawn Wren. My husband tells me every morning as I leave the house, you get to have a Rosie Dawn. Oh. So Rosie is our office manager, and Dawn is our early childhood coordinator. They have been the heart of bringing families into our program. So what we do at the Family Education Center, we are the home to ECFE, but we also enroll families for preschool. We help to get families connected to early childhood screening that is required before kindergarten. Our target age there is 3.5. And Rosie and Dawn and all of these people just do this absolutely lovely job of making coming into school for the first time a warm and welcoming place, and I'm really proud of this office. You met Patty Cooper, and you met Judy Marty. Jana Beck is our other early childhood educator who also provides classroom opportunities. And then we just want to acknowledge Jana and Patty and Judy as the core of our teaching team, and who have been working with ECFE for a long time. So people might have had these experiences perhaps in a younger generation, and now a new generation is coming through. So we're really, really pleased. And then, of course, Diane and Annie. Here's a little bit of Diane's handiwork that we have throughout the program. From the little reading corner that we have, Diane also helps us organize the parent library that is just delightful, to having little curtains in our windows that are thematic. We appreciate the efforts, and you can see I think you can probably feel the joy that Annie has while she's holding that little one in our space. So we thank our staff, and they are our quality in action tonight. A little bit more about the program. This year, like I said, we have 28 hours of programming. Our enrollment is really strong during all of that time. In fact, our enrollment is teetering on being right at or above where we were last year, because these numbers don't include all of the families that come in for our drop-in times. So these are actually enrolled folks. So we're really pleased with how many families we are connecting to across the community. This is just a sample. So this is what our week looks like. The cubicles that are green are the times that we focus on our youngest learners, the babies and the toddlers. The areas that are kind of bluish are then mixed ages and 2s and 3s. In the evenings, you might see music and more, or book time fun, kind of specialty programs that we have in the evening. And then those dark blue spots are drop-in play, so everyone is welcome to come in during those times. And you'll see all of the kind of lavender part in the afternoon. Those are our family learning and Latinas classes that we kind of focus on that extra language support. So that's what the week kind of looks like. What we do in those classes, there are a couple of different kinds of classes that are run in early childhood family education. One might be a separating class, so this would be a time that families bring their kids for the first half hour or so. Everyone is together in a classroom with all of our educators interacting and having activities and having like a large group circle time, so that that routine of school becomes common. And then parents separate out, and children are in the early childhood programming in a classroom that really does emulate the kinds of structures and programs that we want to practice as school gets started. And then parents go with Patty into the parenting classroom, and they get to talk and learn and share and support one another as they are learning about child development, behavioral strategies. Oh my gosh, why isn't the little one sleeping at night? And what I get to hear every day in that space is the conversation among parents, so that they are not feeling so alone. Because sometimes it's a very singular experience that our young families have, who might not have a lot of experience with the littlest ones. So this is just this lovely, warm, nurturing place that you can learn from each other and commune with one another that are having common experiences. We have non-separating classes too. Parents and children stay together throughout that time, but our parenting and early childhood educators are in the space, so that kind of more casual conversations can happen. You can still learn, you can still ask questions, but it's just, it's not a time that parents would be separated out. So for instance, like baby classes, right? You bring the baby, you stay with them together, and learn as you do. We also have family learning time. So this is a special program that is a collaboration between early childhood family education and adult basic ed. Right? How happy is that child?
The dimples.
Yeah, right? This is 2 days a week, 3 hours each time. So a 6-hour-long class that families are committed to, where early childhood experiences are offered for kids, where parenting experiences still happen for parents. And then we add an adult basic educator into the mix, so that our parents can, at the very same time, embedded in that work on English skills or literacy skills. And one learns a language when it is important to you to learn a language. Many people go to a different country, learn a language by learning how to play a musical instrument, or learning how to cook together because it's important. Well, there's nothing more important than our parenting. And so this is really this glorious opportunity to take advantage of time together and learn important things with regard to growing children. We also have drop-in play, which is, like I mentioned earlier, time that families can come in and interact at any time. So I'm going to stop right now, and I'm going to ask our friend Terry Castellanos to come join me for just a second. Come on over, Terry.
It's my moment.
Yeah, it's your moment. So I'm asking Terry to talk a little bit about the extra language support and what that looks like, and what she does with our families in our programming.
Yeah, it's very simple, but at the same time very important, because the ladies, my moms, like I call, they feel very confident, very, how can I explain, like they are in home, because we are talking in Spanish, obviously, and they feel very safe, and they enjoy a lot the classes, because they know that the kids are with the teachers, they are learning, they are, well cared, so they enjoy a lot, and they are learning so much about parenting and specific advices for parenting, and it's very, very nice. So now we add one class, extra class on Fridays, and the same, the ladies are super excited about have more options, not only one on Wednesday, plus family learning, but family learning is all in English. So having more spaces in Spanish is super nice and awesome.
Nice, thank you, perfect.
Way to go.
We also spend some time planning special events. And we know that many of our families in South St. Paul don't have easily, yeah, go figure, right? Don't have easily accessible transportation always, and especially it's hard maybe to bundle kids up and get them from place to place, and so it's really a great opportunity to go on special events. We had a group go to Thompson Park recently that was just a delight. We tour the fire station typically every year. There's an event planned to go to the St. Paul Children's Museum downtown, which is just super cool. And then a couple of special Saturday events here in the wintertime. This one in December is kind of targeted for grandparents who might have some responsibilities for caring for children, but it might be an opportunity for families to have kids and grandparents come to our program and have a little bit of free time in December that perhaps there could be some preparation that families want to be doing during that time. We also know that winter time in Minnesota can be really hard and you get stuck inside, and so coming to our space where there's a great motor space and the classrooms that are warm and friendly are really nice ideas. Every year, our friend Patty helps to coordinate just an amazing thing that is the community baby shower. It was Friday of this past week, and so families from pre-born to 1 year every year get invited to come in. There are usually giveaways and free things and connections with everybody from the library to other book options to neighbors had a table this time, and so we make these connections for our families in just a lovely and inviting place. And how is that not the perfect way to start a Friday morning, right? It's a baby shower, and they were everywhere. In the spring, we're really excited. So we have two schedules. One is a fall calendar and one is a spring calendar, so people can kind of re-up their classes if they want to continue, but it gives other families opportunities to join classes at that point. For the first time this year, we're going to have our April Summer Activities and Safety Fair is going to be located at Kaposia this year, right here in South St. Paul. So we are super excited about that instead of way far away in the south part of Inver Grove Heights, so we're thrilled about that. And then the next time I come back, my intention is to bring representatives of our Early Learning Advisory Council, our parents who are part of the team of people that support early childhood learning across our schools. They, I know, are planning, and Jeff McClellan, I believe, saw this bunch at the Saints game this past summer. We had great opportunities to sell the programs at the Saints games at a couple of Saints games this past summer. And we are planning to kind of bring a community event that people from South St. Paul could get some reduced price tickets. We would sponsor a bus to take folks from South St. Paul downtown to the St. Paul Saints game. So that not everyone has had the opportunity to go. And from a little girl that grew up in minor league baseball in northern Iowa, this is one of those opportunities that I think every family really should be able to have. And so we're going to be planning that new event for the community this summer. So in closing, why does early learning matter? Because we know that from birth to age 5, a child learns faster than at any other time in his or her life. A child's early experiences do create that necessary brain connection for all of their future learning, and that we, as schools and our families and our communities, can contribute to what matters most in a child's early life. So we thank you for the privilege of having children come to us every day. I thank my wonderful ECFE staff and the Early Learning Advisory Council, who you will meet next time, and especially the families that come to join us in ECFE and preschool in South St. Paul. We are privileged to be able to work with them and you. So thank you all very much.
Can we applaud now?
Well, thank you. It really was our privilege to have you here tonight, and appreciate you giving up an evening to come and share all that with us. That's
Any
all really
questions
good.
for this fine group of people? They were a little...
Just, I have the pleasure to walk through their space nearly every day and see the variety of families, the variety of programming. That I walked through the baby shower on Friday, and the comment that Connie that she said that resonated with me most, that is, if you're a young parent and you're feeling alone, come to ECFE. The teachers are there to support you. The other parents are there to support you. Education is still the key to success for all of our kids, and it is for parents too. Everyone has, as parents, tough days, and there's someone there to share that frustration with and to get strategies from. And I really appreciated you saying that. If you're feeling alone, come to ECFE, and we can, even if you need a scholarship, we have them, and we'll make everything possible for you.
Right.
So hats off to your entire crew here.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes,
Right.
and please come up.
We have a gift for all of you.
Thank you for your good work.
Congratulations, Connie.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Coveted sticker.
You work with Liz Aaron? It's better than it looks.
Thanks for your card. Thank you so much.
Oh, I miss you guys.
Well done.
Thank you. I'm a vet from 25 years ago. Both our
Sure.
drop-in plays and the family. Yeah, it must have been pretty close. Yeah. Hello, thank you for coming out tonight, for everything you do.
Is this a new design?
Yeah, I really like that. Yeah.
Okay, I love that idea. Okay. Hi, thank you so much.
Thank you, Diane, right?
I see these everywhere. Yes, I do, and I'm trying to remember where. You must be a staple because I see you everywhere.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much.
Great job tonight.
Secret language, yes. Nobody will ever know. She asked me if I spoke Spanish, and I said I do like a child.
Well, how wonderful is that? What a great program, and just love looking at all those pictures and hearing the stories. We'll now go to the second item on our Quality in Action, and that's the superintendent report and the district highlights with Dr. Webb.
Thanks, Chris. Pretty tough to top moms and babies.
Good luck.
And kids with dimples, right?
Yeah, kids with dimples. We are so fortunate to have leadership like that from our teachers and paras and administrators that just are out there every day supporting our youngest families. In my time in the district, we just continue to grow early, and you heard her why at the end, that as far as brain development goes, that birth to 5 is our most rapid increasing brain development time. So the more we can help our families help their own kids, the better off our community will be. So here's our superintendent update for tonight. Just prior to this meeting, we had our committee of the whole meeting, and we talked about staffing, finance, our Central Square Advisory Board, and our Community Engagement Committee. For staffing, we have kind of our usual process work at the board. In the finance section, we actually had a chance to talk about our project manager for the building that the district is in the process of purchasing on Thompson and 19th. So we're trying to make sure that we're getting a project manager in place so we can do all of our good work. We really have to gut the building to reset it so it's a school rather than some former offices and service there. So we are in the process of getting that position moving forward. We're working with the city on a conditional use permit that will come in November and then to the city council eventually. So we're dotting all the I's, crossing the T's on that future community learning center and community education space. For Central Square, we were pleased to have a number of people that were interested in being on our advisory board. We actually selected a candidate that we are bringing forward tonight for approval, and also another candidate that we are seeking a renewal and on the board as well. Finally, for our community engagement update, our board is getting their plan for outreach to our community set to go for probably November is probably a good target date that we have in mind. And we're just working through final details to get our plans set. Around the district, we know it's Bullying Prevention Month, and I'm going to remind even our board members of the incredible reset and study that our administrators did this summer to go deep into the policy, go deep into training, to make sure that we want to stamp out bullying when we see it. When it arises, we know how to manage it, how to communicate it, and continue to do that well at each of our sites. Some great shots by Samantha Chin from around the district. Looks like I could spend a couple minutes just on that slide alone, but lots of really good things for Bullying Prevention Month. Shout out to Grace Gerton. She's a sophomore that recently scored 249.90 at the girls swim and dive meet against Montemedi. So why that's so important is she broke a 19-year pool record. And this is a 33-year-old South St. Paul school record. And how about her smashing it? So way to go, Grace. We want to give you a shout out tonight for that great work. So the South St. Paul Affinity Groups got a special award for their incredible work to support their leadership, but it's not leadership for themselves, it's leadership for kids and elevating student voice in South St. Paul schools. So the Cultural Jam is an organization that once a year looks across the metro, takes recommendations on pockets of our community that are really listening to all voices and elevating those voices. And South St. Paul Schools was recognized for that. And I want to just call attention to all of our affinity group leaders. They're pictured in the photo above. They deserve a huge round of applause. Our secondary administration that's supporting all these efforts. And then ultimately, the stars of the show, the students that are really doing the work, leading the effort, and encouraging their peers to get involved, their parents to engage. It's been a huge success. We had a wonderful first walk to school day just last week, and it might say, well, doesn't everybody walk to school? Well, not everybody does. And even on this day, our bus riders walked to school. So our bus riders got dropped off 2 or 3 blocks away from school. We had all the orange flags out, as you can imagine. We had a beautiful morning. You can see the leaves on the trees were already turning orange. So just a great day, great morning to promote healthy living and successfully walking to school. We do something cool in South St. Paul, which is a winter gear exchange. So if you have some, I think they call it lightly used, gently used, that's the phrase they like to use, clothing that is outdoor gear related, if you want to donate that, we'll take it. And then when it comes time for the swap, families can bring something in, swap something out. If your kids grow as fast as mine, you need something new almost every year just to fit them. And then the stuff that they don't wear anymore still looks pretty darn good. So come in, trade it out, and get what you need. Our Super Snack program continues to serve a couple hundred students after school. It serves anywhere from athletes to activity participants and beyond. Runs from 2:30 to 3:30. Now these are our new after-school hours at the secondary. And welcome to any student in South St. Paul, and actually ages 1 to 18. Upcoming events, we have a number of conferences. There's no school Thursday, Friday at the end of this week with our MEA break. We have a number of upcoming dates, our Unity Day, Blood Drive, Winter Gear Exchange, and financial aid info, all on Wednesday, October 23rd. All of our meeting info is right on our website. Here's our school address blown up big for you. So if you need more information, you can just log on and get to our school board meeting tab. We'll go back to you, Chris.
Thank you, Dr. Webb. That concludes the quality in action and report section of the meeting, and we'll move on to the business portion of the meeting. We'll start off with our consent agenda, which is made up of the financial claims and the staffing. And do I have a motion for their approval?
So moved.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. And the motion passes and the consent agenda is approved. Nothing is coming forward for policy this evening. So next will be the approval for the South St. Paul School Board to approve the resolution approving, employment of the board clerk as a substitute in a classified position in the school district. And that will be moved and read by Nikki.
Whereas Minnesota statute sections 123B.195 and 471.88 subdivision 5 grant the school district the authority to hire board members for employment. Whereas Wendy Felton, clerk of the South St. Paul Board of Education, is duly qualified for employment as a substitute in a classified position. And whereas the school district wishes to employ Ms. Felton as a substitute in a classified position. So let it be resolved that the South St. Paul Board of Education hereby approves Ms. Felton for employment as a substitute in a classified position in the school district. In accordance with Minnesota statute section 123B.195, Ms. Felton's compensation as a result of this employment relationship with the school district must not exceed $8,000 a year.
Thank you, Nikki. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
I will be abstaining.
Okay, thank you for that. Any other discussion? If not, Wendy, please call the roll.
Inspector Aaron?
Yes.
Inspector Lalaberty?
Yes.
Inspector Diaz?
Yes.
Inspector Bjorklund?
Yes.
Inspector McClellan?
Yes.
And Inspector Walker?
Yes.
6 yeas, 1 abstention.
Thank you. Then the resolution passes and is approved. Next, for the South St. Paul School Board to appoint Julie Munson as a school district representative on the Central Square Community Center Advisory Board. The term would commence November of 2019 and expire in February of 2023. Do I have a motion for that approval?
So moved.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Just a shout out, we had 4 great candidates for this position, and we are just bringing forward Julie's name tonight.
Thank you. Anyone else? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Then the motion passes. And Julie, thank you for coming forward and becoming our representative. Next is for the South St. Paul School Board to reappoint Luke Olson as a school district representative on the Central Square Community Center Advisory Board. The term would commence November 2019 and expire in February of 2022. Do I have a motion for that approval?
So moved.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
We just want to thank Luke for his service on the board, and we're looking forward to being able to reappoint him tonight.
Very good. Thank you. Anyone else? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Then the motion passes, and Luke Olson is reappointed. Thank you, Luke. Next is for the South St. Paul School Board to designate the Pioneer Press as the official newspaper for South St. Paul Public Schools, Special School District Number 6. Do I have a motion for that approval?
So moved.
Thank you. Any, second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
It's a little bit surprising in this internet age that we still are required to put all of our board minutes into a local newspaper, but the Lilly newspapers and all of the chain and connecting newspapers went bankrupt. So we are worked with our tri-district, and we as tri-district school districts decided we would now publish in the St. Paul paper, and that's the rest of the story.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Then the motion passes. Next is for the South St. Paul School Board to approve Kraus Anderson as the construction manager for the River Heights building. Do I have a motion for that approval?
So moved.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
And all of these approvals regarding the building are all contingent on everything being approved by the city, so we can't get too far out front and until November when that process runs. But we expect things to go well with the city, and we want to bring him for approval tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Webb. Anyone else? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? The motion passes. Next is for the South St. Paul School Board to approve the acceptance of gifts resolution, and that will be moved and read by Wendy.
Be it resolved that the School Board of South St. Paul Public Schools, Special School District Number 6, accept the following donations as indicated in the detailed background listed below. A donation amount of $6,000 to Lincoln Kaposia and the South St. Paul Secondary Building from Dakota Electric to be used for Positive Behavior Intervention Supports, or as it's known as PBIS. Also, a donation of $744 designated to Lincoln Center from Bill Arend. The purpose of that is a memorial bench in memory and honor of his wife Liz, who was a longtime school district employee.
Thank you, Wendy. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Then the motion passes. That's it for the business items. Now, we'll let each board member, or give each board member a chance to tell us what's on their mind and what they've been doing for the last few weeks. We'll start off to...
I need to call roll on that resolution.
I'm very sorry. Yes, that was a resolution, and we do need to call the roll on the approval for the acceptance of gifts resolution.
Inspector McClellan.
Yes.
Inspector Bjorklund.
Yes.
Inspector Diaz.
Yes.
Inspector Laliberte.
Yes.
Inspector Arend.
Abstain.
Thank you. Inspector Felton says yes. Inspector Walker.
Yes,
6 yeas, 1 abstention.
thank you. And again, thank you for calling that to my attention. That was a resolution. We'll start off to my right with Linda.
Nothing for me this week.
All right, thank you. And Patty?
Same here.
And Jeff?
Likewise.
All right, get through this in a hurry. Nikki?
Just one thing that the South St. Paul Library is accepting donations for children's books. And there's a form on the counter where you check out your books that you can fill out, and you can give any amount that you wish. You can be anonymous if you wish. And the goal of this is to get books into the hands of children who wouldn't normally have that opportunity. So my check's going out in the mail tomorrow. So if you're interested, go pick up a form at the library. Thanks.
Thank you, Nikki. Bill?
I'd just like to publicly thank Lisa, Glenn, and Dave for the work they did on our memorial bench. And I'm very grateful. So thank you, and thank you, okay?
Very good. Thank you, Bill. And Wendy?
Just a couple things tonight. I had the opportunity to attend the community baby shower at ECFE last Friday. And it was always a fun event for new families with small children, infants, and several pregnant women that came to see the facility. And a special thank you to Neighbors Incorporated. It was a company that brought in free books for children, and also a representative from Head Start was there to give out information regarding their program. So it was a fun event. Everybody left with gifts and things that they could use for their upcoming families. And just also as a reminder, that fall musical, you can make your reservations now for Once Upon a Mattress, the second weekend in November. It looks like a lot of fun, and the musicals are always great, so look forward to that. And as was mentioned earlier, this is MEA weekend. I want everyone to be out there, have fun, be safe, and enjoy. It's supposed to be a pretty nice weekend with warmer weather coming, so that's always fun. And a special thank you also to the South St. Paul Educational Foundation. As Dr. Webb had mentioned earlier, and most students have seen in the buildings, the KIND poster where it says "Be the I" in KIND. The Education Foundation was the one who supplied those posters with their financial assistance to the school. So I want to thank you to them for their positive statements, their assistance in getting out that great message to our families. So thank you again to the Education Foundation.
All right, thanks, Wendy. We do have a closed session tonight. I'm going to have a little help here addressing that. The next item on the agenda is the preliminary consideration of allegations against an individual that is subject to the board's authority. The open meeting law, Minnesota statute section 13D.05, subdivision 2B, states that a public body shall close a meeting for the preliminary consideration of allegations against an individual subject to its authority. During the closed meeting, the board will discuss the allegations and the possible next steps. Accordingly, pursuant to the law I have cited, I will hereby entertain a motion that this meeting be closed for the purpose of the preliminary consideration of allegations against individuals subject to the board's authority.
So moved.
Thank you. And do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. And the motion passes and the meeting is closed.